Hey vinyl community, it's Greg from Three Dimensions of Music. I'm putting out a video. I wanted to show some vinyl that I picked up over the weekend from a gentleman I met at a flea market. Rob Walker from Let the Music Play channel. He calls them car boots, and this is kind of what this was. This was a parking lot, and everybody had their car parked and their boot open, and everything was out behind their car. And this guy had a crate of records, and I went through them, and most of them were some old country. And he was asking me, do I still play records? And I said, yeah, I'm always looking for some rock, some classic rock, and some jazz and stuff. And he goes, well, I just have this here with me, but I have stuff at home that I didn't bring. And when you always hear that, you say, holy smoke, maybe this could lead to something. So I said, I'd be happy to come over and take a look if we can arrange a meetup. So he said that'd be great. So I went over there, and he had his garage. He put up a bunch of long tables, and he had these records laying flat in piles of 10 or 15 all the way down the table. It was probably about 3 10-foot tables of records. So I'm going through all these records, and I found a few, and I wanted to show them to you. They were about buck and a quarter a piece. He didn't want very much for them. Some of them I couldn't take because they were ones I wanted in the long run, but they were just so beat up and some water damage. You know how things go. And this fellow didn't seem to store all his albums like he should have, because there was some mold and mildew on some, and some there wasn't. But I did pick out a few, not a lot. And he said he had even more that he had left in the house, and I said, well, maybe we can schedule another day. I didn't want to go into his house or anything. But here's a few that I picked up. The first one I picked up was someone I was familiar with. This gentleman, there's no title on the front. Try to keep the glare off. I'm not sure if that's, I'm hoping that's not going to be a problem, because I saw in my last video the big old ring there. But this is Philip Upchurch. He's a guitarist in the vein of kind of like George Benson or Wes Montgomery, stuff like that. Easy, smooth jazz, but very talented guitarist. I was happy to find this. It's a double album. It was pretty clean as far as marks and everything. It's on what they call a label I haven't seen before. The name of the album is Philip Upchurch, Darkness, Darkness, and I believe it's by Blue. It was Blue Thumb, I think, Blue Thumb Records. And I haven't listened to it yet. I just cleaned it. I got to put it through my second cleaning, but I wanted to share it with you. I think I showed that already, but Phil Upchurch, Darkness, Darkness. Next one I got from the gentleman, my very first, I believe it's a CBS, or not CBS, but Columbia 6i. Satch Plays Fats, and this was in pretty decent shape. Very impressive, stiff record, not in bad shape at all, hardly. Just a couple of marks on as far as light scratches, but my very first 6i. So we'll see how that is. It's not exactly Miles Davis, but hey, for a buck something, it's worth trying out and seeing how it is. This next one, I have the Hot Rocks from Rolling Stones, but he had this more Hot Rocks. But I've seen this from time to time, but not normally, usually in a record store where it's a little priced a little more. But I got this double album, and these are in very good shape on Dunhill, I believe, or no, London Records. More Hot Rocks, Big Hits, and Phased Cookies, whatever that means. But there's quite a few Stones songs on there. And what was cool was, and I didn't even know it at the time, but I brought home 2 sets of the same record, and they were both in pretty good condition. This one has some ring wear on the cover, light ring wear, but they're both in pretty decent shape as far as vinyl condition. I was very surprised, because usually Rolling Stones are kind of hard to find in this condition. So I got 2 of these, so I'm going to save one for a friend and see if he'd like it, if he doesn't have it. And another one I got that's called Tomita. He's a composer, and I've since found out I do have this. I thought it looked familiar, but I thought I had a different Tomita, but I do have this one. But it's in really good condition. I cleaned it, and we'll see how that goes. I'm saving it for somebody to meet up. Next one, Ahmad Jamal, some old jazz, and this is on Cadet Records. Just a minute, I'm doing a video on Cadet Records. And it's Ahmad Jamal, The Bright, the Blue, and the Beautiful. Let's see how that is. So I've yet to play these yet because I have to put them through a second cleaning. Next record I got, he had records all over the place on these tables, as far as different artists. Mont the Hoople, Greatest Hits. This was in pretty good shape. Most of these covers and albums are in pretty good shape. I had to clean up some mildew, and do my usual cleaning routine to try to minimize all that and get rid of it, the mustiness smell. And this one here was pretty neat find. It is a promo of Johnny and Edgar Winter when they were together. It's on Blue Sky album, and what's cool is the inner was in it, and there's those two young men when they were very small. It's pretty cool. And that's the band back in the day. This was a one album set, Blue Sky Records, little demo, not for sale. In pretty good shape as far as condition. So I was pleased to get that because I do love my Johnny Winter. And next one, which I thought was interesting. I've seen this, I think Mazzy, maybe a couple others have talked about it. I'm not sure if they've shown it, because I haven't watched all the videos from Mazzy, but I think he was fond of this recording, if I recall. So I thought it was great to come across it. Judy Garland, live at Carnegie Hall. It's a double album in very good condition. So I said, I'm going to pick that up because Judy Garland, I heard that this was a good record. So we're going to play that and see how that goes. And this is on Capitol. This is the old Capitol with the rainbow type of label. And it looks like it was maybe played once or twice. I'm guessing because it looks like it'd be in great shape. Okay, next one. A little bit of jazz too, Harold Betters. And I believe this is on Prestige. Reprise. Harold Betters. On the pink. In pretty good shape. These album covers are so thick, cardboard, definitely not thin. And that was Harold Betters. The next one, you get a kick out of this one. I've seen this once before, a long time ago. Cheech and Chong, Sleeping Beauty. I just love the shape of it. You know, the red pill. It's like a pill. It opens up like a pill. And there's the two comedians. He had the other Cheech and Chong too. I think it was Bamboo something or other, but it was in pretty bad shape. But this was in dynamite shape. And let's see if I can pull the insert out too, which is there, which is a tongue. Kind of reminds me of the Rolling Stones. And there's those guys with their entourage. So I thought that was a pretty cool find in that stack. Next one, I was looking for this monster. I always come across it. It's always beat up because usually the guys that listened to Steppenwolf back in the day, you know, the records are just kind of put aside and they weren't even putting the album or putting the jacket, and they were just going on to the next record and just partying, and everything gets scratched up. This one, not the case. It's in very good shape. The Steppenwolf I do like. Monster, which is pretty. My wife looked at that cover. She thought that was pretty cool, the back part of the cover. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this album. Next one, Booker T and the MGs. We all know about these guys back in the day. This is on Stax Records. Again, it's in pretty decent shape on Stax. All right, next one. I have this already, but I couldn't just leave it there to get mildewed up and messed up. It's Barbaletta Santana. Great album. Save it for a friend or VCLT, whatever. Next, my first vinyl of the Kinks. He had a few Kinks there. So I picked up this one, Celluloid Heroes. That's Kinks Greatest Kinks. I believe it's called Kinks Greatest Hits compilation, and that is on RCA. Pretty common. Next one is the Kinks, and I believe this one is called, probably know it, The Great Lost Kinks Album. Alright, so this is, like I said, these are my first foray into the Kinks for my collection. That's on reprise. And the last Kinks that he had that was decent enough shape was the Muswell Hillbillies. Is that Muswell? Yeah, Muswell Hillbillies. So this ought to be an interesting listen. I see a lot of guys show this on the VC too. And it's a pretty decent shape. All these records were very, very, very clean. Lastly, he had this sitting there. This was a box set, and it's still in the shrink. Tommy Dorsey with Frank Sinatra. I think it's a 5-record set. I looked it up on Amazon. I'm a kind of a fan of Sinatra. I have a couple of Tommy Dorsey's orchestra, but I don't know if I'm going to open this. I think I might just save this for maybe to sell or give away. I don't know, because like I said, he charged me $5 for this. He gave me a really fair price on it. But obviously, being it's mint, it's probably worth a lot more. I don't know if I'll keep it or not. I have some good Sinatra CDs. Real quick, I picked up another. If anybody knows, I did a room tour one time, and I had 13 lava lamps. This makes 14. So I'm getting up there in lava lamps. Found one at Goodwill. Usually I'll pick up lava lamps real cheap, either at church sales or Goodwills, and I usually get them for less than $5. This one's brand new. I still had the case, so I'm swimming in lava. As you can see, I have a few CDs I picked up over the past few weekends. I'll go over them in a future video. I won't hold you. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you checking in on me, and I always appreciate your comments.